pseudo-royal court over there in Montecito.
This might be the smallest palace I've ever been in.
An apartment.
But that's exactly what Meghan Markle has done here. It is a disgusting new low.
So I went online to see what was new with Uncle Harry and Auntie Meghan, and I couldn't find a thing. I would have thought she'd have at least popped up in a tampon commercial by now.
Harry and Meghan are their own worst enemies every single time.
Trying to make ourselves into a brand just turned us into products. We don't need to be a brand, do we?
They have no way to do anything else but to flaunt their titles around because they don't have anything else to offer.
My name is Megan Sussex now. Call me Meghan Markle one more time, Mindy.
We want privacy! We want privacy! We have to get jobs. I have to start auditioning again.
You were on the very famous show Suits. More popular in the States than even Friends, you told us.
I'm so excited because one of my closest friends is coming over to help me cook today. Shit, what's her name? Line?
I would do way less salt than that. Let me just do it, Jen.
It's Marcy.
Whatever.
Look, I love you and I'm willing to do whatever I need to do in order to be with you, Meghan.
It's important we do this ourselves, Harry, and not live off your family.
I agree. We'll just have to find a way to make £50 billion on our own.
Fuck.
It's so funny you keep saying Meghan Markle. You know it's Sussex.
If it's truly what we want, then we really can get away from it all. No more magazines and Netflix shows. We really can live a normal life. Yes, I'm sure you agree, darling.
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have created a new cosplay royal court over there in Montecito.
You've lived a life with the royal family, you've had everything handed to you, but you say your life has been hard, and now you've written all about it in your new book, Where?
So how was your audition?
The show was canceled by the time I got there.
Well, we don't need you to work anyway because I'm able to find this.
What happened to your ring?
I gave it to the working people.
We're the working people.
And Harry himself is over here, not really with anything to do. So their, I guess, reaction to this sort of meandering that they've done for the past 5 years without real purpose except for give me money because I need money is to set up a cosplay royal.
Welcome to my garden. Well, it's not my garden, it's a set actually, but welcome to my set.
What if the fairy tale wasn't just flawed, but completely fake? Behind the manicured hedges and carefully staged photo ops of Meghan and Harry's Montecito mansion, a new narrative is emerging, and it's nothing like the Netflix version. Former staffers are coming forward with stories so bizarre, so oddly consistent, that it's shaking the very foundation of brand Sussex. From color-coded corridor lights to meltdown-level diffuser drama, what's really going on behind those gated walls? We thought we'd heard it all. Lavish spending, PR-perfect causes, royal rebellion, but according to insiders, that was just the surface. What lies beneath is a micro-monarchy fueled by scented candles, wellness obsessions, and whispered orders that could get you fired for wearing the wrong shirt. And here's the kicker. These stories aren't coming from tabloids or anonymous Twitter threads. They're coming from housekeepers, drivers, and aides who were actually there. Some say the vibe went from royal to reality show overnight. Others call it palace cosplay with panic attacks. So ask yourself, is this the real price of privacy? Or have Meghan and Harry created something even more controlling than the crown they left behind? Because this is where the fairy tale starts to crack. Just when you thought the Sussex drama had hit peak saturation, a fresh wave of former staffers has started talking, and what they're revealing makes past headlines look tame. The story isn't about royals gone rogue anymore. It's about what happens when a picture-perfect brand starts to unravel behind the scenes. Ex-housekeepers, personal assistants, gardeners, drivers, even yoga consultants are stepping forward with matching accounts of a household run like a pressure cooker. What they describe isn't just strict management, it's emotional whiplash. Overnight rule changes, meltdown triggers over candle scents, corridors monitored by color-coded lights like some kind of spa meets palace surveillance system. They're not just venting, they're comparing notes in encrypted chats and private message threads, shocked at how eerily similar their experiences were. One former event planner said it best. Everything became cosmetic. Meghan allegedly monitored fragrance placement with the intensity of a Hollywood director, while Harry played laid-back surfer in the background. This isn't just one disgruntled employee talking, it's dozens. And the vibe they describe isn't modern royalty. It's something closer to royal cosplay with a wellness cult twist. And as the leaks grow louder, the question becomes, how much longer can the castle walls hold? Inside the Montecito mansion, reality starts to feel more like scripted theater. Staffers describe a bizarre signal system, discrete light bulbs above each corridor that shift from green to amber to crimson, depending on who's roaming the halls. Green means you're clear to walk through. Amber? Stand by. Crimson? Turn around and vanish. One former security aide joked the nursery wing glowed red so often it might as well have been under permanent royal lockdown. But it doesn't stop there. According to multiple insiders, eye contact was banned, unless Meghan initiated conversation first. A former housekeeper said staff were trained to give Harry a casual nod, but keep their gaze low around Meghan to preserve her on-camera mystique. Then there's the scent situation. Entire hallways were allegedly subject to aroma audits, where scented candles had to match the mood of the day, lavender for calm, bergamot for focus. Get it wrong, and you might be reassigned, or just vanish from the schedule altogether. And if it sounds over the top, that's because it is. But when multiple former staffers tell nearly identical stories, even the wildest details start sounding less like fantasy and more like policy. And that's when things started to get personal. What once looked like a California wellness retreat now sounds more like a brand-obsessed command center. Former staffers say that everything, from the diffuser scent in each room to the shade of polo shirts, was dictated by Meghan's vision of perfection. But this wasn't about relaxation, it was about control. One ex-assistant recalled a moment where Meghan paused a Zoom call, muted herself, and delivered a whispered critique so sharp it left another senior aide blinking back tears. Her offense: a smoothie was served 5 degrees too warm. Another staffer described a full wardrobe change before sunrise because their uniforms clashed with the mansion's neutral palette. That change came hours after they'd already worked through the night on a last-minute produce run for aura-aligned fruits. Florists were allegedly expected to memorize 3 different floral designs for a single event, just in case the theme changed, depending on whether it was for Instagram, Netflix, or a candid paparazzi shot. Wellness wasn't a lifestyle. It was a full-time aesthetic one staffers say became a trap. It wasn't about creating calm. It was about keeping the image flawless no matter how chaotic things got behind the scenes. And that image, it was just beginning to crack. The cracks didn't just appear, they exploded. Staff insiders describe what they call Montecito meltdowns, sudden, intense flare-ups triggered by the smallest details. A wrinkled blouse, a misplaced scent. A pillow, not fluffed to perfection. According to one former assistant, Meghan once halted a live Zoom call, muted her camera, and unleashed a whispered tirade that left a senior staffer sobbing in the hallway. 10 minutes later, that staffer had packed her bag and exited through a side gate without saying a word. Another recalled being summoned at midnight, along with several others for a uniform inspection. Their shirts apparently clashed with the home's curated color scheme. The entire wardrobe had to be replaced before sunrise, all while juggling a grocery run for visually on-brand produce. These weren't isolated incidents, they were the new normal. Insiders say the emotional whiplash came from never knowing which version of the household you were walking into. Was it Harry's laid-back surfer mood with tacos and vintage rock? Or Meghan's producer mode, complete with silent walkie-talkies and backup floral arrangements on standby? Staff began whispering a phrase that would quietly spread, "It's not a job, it's a performance." And the curtain wasn't closing anytime soon. As Spotify pulled the plug and Netflix budgets started tightening, something else inside the mansion shifted. Money talk got tense. Staffers who once operated in a blur of blank checks and imported matcha suddenly found accountants combing through invoices line by line. One chef recalled a whispered order to garnish plates with gold leaf because it pops better in 4K. Days later, finance allegedly asked if saffron might be a cheaper stand-in. A former event planner booked for a beachfront charity soiree says she was quietly told to downgrade from Kobe beef sliders to organic turkey, but still include imported peonies flown in from Holland. The contradiction was glaring, luxury optics on a cost-cutting leash. It wasn't just staff noticing. Insiders claim potential investors in Meghan's lifestyle brand began requesting culture audit clauses, terms that reduce funding if negative stories leak during a product launch. One Los Angeles firm allegedly asked for proof of sustainable vendor relationships after hearing about lavender emergencies that sent overtime costs spiraling. Even influencer-friendly magazines reportedly backed away from photo shoots, fearing backlash if the background diffuser clashed with staff complaints. Behind the soft glow of wellness branding, the financial strain was showing, and people were taking notice. They left the crown behind, but rebuilt the court. That's what ex-staffers and critics are now saying as Meghan and Harry's Montecito home allegedly morphed into a full-blown pseudo-palace. Leaks suggest they didn't just create a structured household, they mirrored the very royal hierarchy they once condemned. Chiefs of staff, press secretaries, and a strict chain of command, just without the actual throne. Online, the backlash is brutal. British tabloids call it royal cosplay. U.S. gossip outlets dub it Duke and Duchess 2.0 with Hollywood lighting. Reddit threads have even mocked up side-by-side graphics comparing Meghan's staff roles to Buckingham Palace counterparts, and the resemblance is uncanny. Insiders say this new court-style hierarchy didn't soften rules. It sharpened them. Staff describe even stricter approval chains, hallway whisper protocols, and daily updates to a rulebook that felt less like guidance and more like a script. According to one former nanny, the pressure to maintain a flawless, regal image trickled into every detail, from the pitch of staff radio chatter to the angle of teacups and press photos. What started as a rebellion against the palace now looks to some like a replica, just with candles, cameras, and curated chaos. And it was only getting more surreal from here, so why now? Why are so many former employees suddenly willing to risk breaking NDAs and speaking up? Insiders say the answer is simple. Fear is no longer one-sided. Back when Spotify deals were booming and Netflix dollars flowed freely, the Sussex brand felt untouchable. Leaking anything meant inviting a billionaire-backed legal storm. But once the cracks appeared, budget cuts, brand cooldowns, and a very public unraveling, that iron wall started to feel more like painted plywood. Staffers say they began comparing notes privately, then realized their stories weren't isolated. They were nearly identical. Encrypted chats, invite-only Reddit threads, and even blurred screenshots started circulating among ex-workers. The realization hit hard. This wasn't one disgruntled aide. This was a chorus. Some allege that legal threats now carry less bite, with at least one former driver claiming a Hollywood lawyer quietly hinted the couple would think twice before suing over minor leaks, especially with investor scrutiny and PR fatigue already piling up. The result? A wave of revelations with more coordination, more consistency, and a lot less fear. The days of whispered gripes in laundry closets are over, and as more staffers speak out, the mansion's mystique begins to crumble brick by carefully curated brick. Beneath the marble countertops and Instagram-ready backdrops, staff say life inside the Montecito mansion was anything but serene. Emotional burnout became a daily battle, masked by diffusers and designer robes. One former housekeeper described meditation breaks taken in laundry closets just to avoid lavender-related disputes. Another said they kept a mindfulness app set to emergency mode, ready to trigger a moment of calm between verbal critiques and wardrobe overhauls. The emotional toll wasn't just about tasks, it was about unpredictability. Staff didn't just fear doing something wrong, they feared doing something right on the wrong day. A scent approved yesterday might trigger a meltdown tomorrow. A playlist meant to soothe could suddenly signal a looming demand. The rules shifted without warning, and the anxiety never lifted. According to several insiders, even the calm was curated. One florist said she trimmed $800 candles from a centerpiece only to be told to hide the burned wicks. So everything looked untouched for B-roll footage. We weren't employees, she said. We were props in a wellness fantasy. And as more aides quietly exited, one truth became clear. Behind every photo op smile was a team of people one diffuser blend away from a breakdown. By now, the leaks aren't isolated, they're synchronized. Staff aren't just venting, they're documenting. Multiple ex-employees claim to have saved overlapping receipts, time-stamped messages, and even corridor light photos. Screenshots from group chats show nearly identical complaints from people who never met, separated by months, yet haunted by the same routines. Red corridor lights, last-minute wardrobe switches, scented candle chaos. recruiters are rattled. One Beverly Hills agency allegedly shortened trial contracts from 6 months to just 30 days, citing emotional volatility. PR teams whisper about red alert simmer, a state where no one knows whether to post, pivot, or go completely silent. Even minor leaks now trigger emergency strategy meetings with 3 simultaneous approaches. Meghan's team drafts a cheerful wellness post, Harry's circle pushes a charity spotlight, and the lawyers ask the dreaded question, is this cease and desist worthy? But as one former social media aide put it, the more they try to control the narrative, the more it unravels. What was once a brand built on authenticity is now drowning in strategy decks and panic-driven rewrites, and for every attempt to spin a diffuser meltdown into a moment of mindfulness, the cracks just grow deeper. And this time, everyone's watching. So now we're left with a simple question. Has the Montecito dream officially curdled into a PR nightmare? With each new leak, the carefully crafted image of calm, curated royalty seems more like a reality show no one signed up for. Is this the end of brand Sussex as we know it, or just another reinvention waiting to be repackaged? What do you think? Are these staff revelations a glimpse into the truth or just more noise in the royal echo chamber?